and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, November 9th, and I'm your host, Krista McDonald. On Thursday, November 8th, town meeting members met in the auditorium of Norwood High School to discuss two special town meeting warrants. In the second warrant, Article 5 was a request by the Board of Selectmen to transfer the property publicly known as Forbes Hill to the Board of Selectmen for the purpose of selling the property for no less than $11 million. After some input and discussion from town meeting members, the motion to sell the property at Forbes Hill was carried.
I have a motion from the Board of Selectmen. Mr. Maloney.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Recommended by the Board of Selectmen that the town transfer the town-owned property shown on the assessor's plans as Lot 1A on Map 14, Sheet 9, containing 27 acres of land, more or less, from the Board of Selectmen for general municipal purposes to the Board of Selectmen for the purpose of sale of said property, and further, that the Board of Selectmen is authorized to sell said property for such consideration in an amount of not less than $11 million, and upon such terms as the Board of Selectmen shall deem appropriate. Mr. Moderator?
On a vote of 105 in favor, 23 opposed, the motion has satisfied the two-thirds requirement and carries.
Along with the carried motion to sell the property, Article 6 was the request to amend the zoning law to allow further flexibility if the property were to be sold, which was again passed in the previous article. According to the town meeting yellow sheets, the amendments include what is called a Forbes Hill Plan mixed-use zoning overlay, which allows increased flexibility on the use of the sold property, including new flexibility on residential and commercial use, as well as amendments that aid in the effort to preserve open space of the property. The Planning Board will also seize authority over all permits regarding the property. Stay tuned to Norwood News to hear more about special town meeting. When we come back, we will recap the results of the recent Massachusetts elections.
Hi, Travis Farley with the Norwood Recreation Department. We just want to get the word out on our traditional and historic floor hockey program. It's the 48th year this program's been in existence. We're really excited about it. It's only $45. It includes the shirt, mouth guard, goggles, a free 2-week clinic to start the clinic, and a big championship game. So games are on Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. The program starts the last week in November, so please come join floor hockey legend Howard Weinstein in the Norwood Recreation Department on the last week in November for our historical floor hockey program.
Your home for all things Norwood, online at norwoodcommunitymedia.org.
Welcome back. On Tuesday night, the state election polls closed and the results are in. The incumbent governor, Charlie Baker, will continue to serve the Commonwealth, as well as Senator Elizabeth Warren. Ballot question 1 failed, making no change in current laws relative to patient-to-nurse limits. Question 2 passed, creating a Citizens Commission to advance an amendment to the United States Constitution to limit the influence of money in elections and establish that corporations do not have the same rights as human beings. Ballot question 3 passed, keeping the current law, which prohibits discrimination on the basis of gender identity in places of public accommodation. Norwood had an excellent voter turnout this year, with voter participation in the 67th percentile. Now let's take a look at this week's Living Local.
My name is Joseph Drain. I'm here to compete indoor sports and compete strength and conditioning at 576 Pleasant Street, Norwood, Massachusetts. We help youth, high school, and college athletes develop their bodies off the field, off the ice, off the court. We do that by allowing people to play, practice, train under one roof in a convenient location with high-level coaching. So in between these walls, this is where we take athletes of all ages and adults as well, and we dissect their imbalances, their weaknesses, their previous training experiences, incorporate their goals, and we put them through a training program that makes them better and it helps them achieve their goals, whether it's getting rehab from an injury or just making that varsity team or playing at a higher level if they want to go from a high school level to a college level. And so we do everything between training them and also providing individualized, customized nutrition programs for those athletes. And the field house is about 18,000 square feet. It's like your traditional 7-on-7 indoor soccer field or indoor lacrosse field. Between there, we mix it. We either rent it out to youth programs like Norwood Youth Soccer, like Norwood Youth Lacrosse. Even the Norwood High School football team has used it a few times. Norwood High School Lacrosse has used it. Or we're doing our own coaching programs in there through our Compete Lacrosse Academy or our Compete Soccer Academy, where we provide coaching to individuals, small groups, or entire organizations. What I like about the Norwood community is because it resonates where I come from. So I came from a blue-collar, working-class family that's very tight-knit and everyone looks out for each other. And that's what I really like in my business as well. And then being in the Norwood community, I see that day to day. What I see what this community stands for ties very closely to what my family values are, and and I associate that with how I run my business. So it's again things that we instill in our athletes from a day-to-day basis. The hardest part about generating a good quality town organization comes from the volunteer parents, and their hearts are all in the right places. They put their time, energy, money that these volunteer parents donate to watch their kids grow, watch their kids' friends grow, and some of these parents stick with it for year after year after year, and it's not easy. So our job is to make their lives easier. Yeah, we have adult classes too, so everyone kind of looks at us as like a serious sports performance training facility, and we try to take, again, those same values that we train our athletes in with our adults. We call it human performance training. We obviously want them to perform well in here, because if they're performing well in here, it's obviously a stress reliever. They're obviously promoting health in their own lives, but they're usually, most of the people that are in here are some sort of role models for the other people in their lives, whether they're teachers or coaches themselves, or at the very least they're parents, and they have to be promoting a healthy lifestyle for the kids. And usually that's one of those things that you lead by example there. So we try to provide as much additional resources as we can. We have families here we have 3 generations of families here actually training right now. Grandparent training here, a parent training here, and 4 of their kids train here. So it's pretty cool to see that healthy lifestyle get promoted from literally generation to generation. If we can help sustain that amongst the family and the community, that's what it's all about. We're here for the community, we're here for the kids, and anytime someone has a question or a comment or wants to stop by, our doors are always open. We try to be very accessible to the entire community. You can find us a few different platforms. Obviously, websites, competeindorsports.com, competestrengthconditioning.com. You can find us on Instagram, you can find us on Facebook, or if you just want to shoot us an email email me directly at joedrain@competesc.com. Or just come by and say hi.
On Monday, the school committee met at 7 p.m. in the school committee room at the Savage Center. Some items were brought before the committee, such as a review of policies before adoption and the acceptance of 2 donations. Committee Chair Maya Bodenhofer presented a review from the Budget Balancing Committee of the estimated amount of money the school committee will request in an override. With the projected amount to be $8.7 million, Chairman Bodenhofer explains how that number affects the taxpayer.
Everything scales with your tax rate doesn't necessarily go up if your tax bill doesn't necessarily go up if the value of the entire town goes up. So what we're saying here is that, and if the $8.7 million override were to pass, the average single-family residence would see a tax increase of approximately $575 per year. And that would be a new, that additional level would create a new baseline, and then taxes would go up for 2.5% per year from that new baseline.
School committee will not meet next week and will reconvene on November 28th. On Tuesday night, the Board of Selectmen met in their chambers at Town Hall. With a full agenda, the board met promptly at 7 p.m. with Police Chief Bill Brooks. Brooks gave his monthly report to the board, noting that the rape defense class just began and that the department will be receiving 2 grants. One grant is for LiDAR, a speed control system similar to radar. The second grant is for pedestrian safety enforcement. Fire Chief George Maurice also delivered his monthly department activities. Just after giving his report, Chief Maurice introduced Paul Valera of Norwood Urgent Care.
Just a few words. I came to Norwood in 2010, opened an urgent care, well accepted by the town. I've had interaction with the fire department. Obviously, we're an urgent care center, so more critical patients will transport to the hospital. very polite, respond appropriately, yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, how can I help you? Police as well. We have nothing good to say, nothing else but good things to say about the town. It's been good to us, and I'd like to make a donation to the fire department for $50,000.
Wow.
They can use it how they see fit. Thank you very much. You're welcome. So, thanks for everything. We're small business owners, myself and my business partner. There's nothing else we can say but thanks. The town's been very well to us, and as far as all the people that live in the town as well.
After Valera presented that generous gift, the board moved on with their meeting. DPW Director Mark Ryan appeared before the board as part of the manager's update to discuss installing a permanent island at the Peabody Road intersection at Norwood High School. Ryan cited that the island helps with traffic flow during morning drop-off. Selectman Donahue had the budget in mind when she stated her concerns with the project.
If we cut corners in some of these extra projects, wouldn't that give us more money to resurface necessary roads that are very necessary?
No, this project will cost probably $7,000 to $8,000, which would get you really 50 feet of roadway paving. It's minuscule.
But if you put that together with all the other extra projects that we do around town, if we tightened up our belts, you know, some of these are very necessary and some are making things just somewhat better, you know, but how about the concept of tightening up our belts so we could have more money to do the roads that are really necessary to do?
The next Board of Selectmen meeting will be Tuesday, November 13th. The Conservation Commission met on Wednesday night. The Conservation Commission met with Goldman Environmental, representing Peter Cantonese for an ongoing project request located on Boston Providence Turnpike. Cantonese expressed his frustration on the status of the project.
Brian's been there for 6 months doing this. He's been in communication with this board, you people, for over 6 months.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't have hired him, I wouldn't have gone any further. You know, now you're putting a project another 6 months down the road for me. I don't think that's fair. I don't think
I guess our
you guys are looking
option,
for a reason not to get this done.
Okay.
And I think you should tell me that you're looking for a reason not to get it done.
Well, that's
Because this
not,
guy nods his head every 2 seconds, Dear Maria. When anybody says anything, he just nods his head, no, no, no. And that's fine.
Okay.
But tell me in front of everybody that you don't want this project then.
that's not up to us.
It is up to you, you're the board.
No, not to make a determination that we do or don't want something. You have every right to present an application before this board, and we're supposed to address it without prejudice. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be even-handed about it, and I'm sorry if
I
you...
disagree with you, I'm not
Well,
trying to be
that's-
even-handed about it. You made me get a second opinion, okay? Even at the second opinion, he's 90% there, but he couldn't walk it when it was supposedly dry. She complains that when she walks on wet grass. Go walk in my wet grass. Go walk in any grass
I
when it's
wasn't,
wet.
wait,
Okay, so,
number
wait a
one,
minute.
I wasn't complaining about walking
Okay.
on wet grass. I just said it was mucky
Okay.
out there. I honestly thought he was going to support his findings 100%. I honestly thought that's
You
how
can't
that
support his
report.
findings
Okay.
100%
Excuse me.
tonight.
Hey, that's it,
Yeah.
okay? The discussion has ended. We've made a ruling. If you don't agree with it, do whatever you think you need to do, okay? I'm sorry.
There should
They
be
can't
more-
rule on it. They can't rule on it.
Some of them will be gone.
Well, we'll start it over again, but
Some
I
of the
just
old
don't.
numbers will be gone.
the only other thing
I
that we can do
really
is
hope
we-
that
Let's
wasn't
end
a
the discussion
threat.
on it. We're not discussing it anymore. It's a moot point.
no, the other
We made a
thing-
ruling.
The other
Thursday's special town meeting included 9 articles on 2 different warrants. In Article 2 of Warrant 1 was a request of borrowing of $13.2 million to acquire a new Norwood Light Department working facility at 136 Access Road. Some of the needs for a new facility, according to the presentation presented by Norwood Light, include a garage space for company vehicles, preventing any weather damage to the vehicles or other equipment, as well as an easy access customer service desk, according to their first floor plans. After some quick discussion, the motion carried by a majority vote.
All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say no. May I have a show of hands for the noes, please? Help me count on this. 1. I see 1. I'm sorry, is there a second one? That one there. In the back, all right, 2. I have 2. I have a show of hands on the ayes. I'm going to declare that 120 to 2.
Also at town meeting was the discussion of Article 2 in Warrant 2, which was the authorization to extend the employment of Police Chief Bill Brooks. After some statements by fellow colleagues and town meeting members, the motion carried unanimously, and Chief Brooks will officially remain your police chief at the town of Norwood.
This vote only requires a simple majority, but when matters go to the legislature, oftentimes the members of the general court are interested in how strong a vote was for or against a particular, well, for a matter, because it wouldn't get to them unless it was a vote for. So let me ask first, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say no. And Madam Clerk, please note that has passed unanimously. Thank you.
Congratulations to Chief Brooks, and thank you for your continued service to the town of Norwood. To watch complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government Channel or watch it on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break to find out what's happening in your schools.
Host Krista McDonald brings you breaking local news. Government coverage. Sports updates. Norwood News on Norwood Community Media.
Hi, Travis Farley with the Norwood Recreation Department. We just want to get the word out on our traditional and historic floor hockey program. It's the 48th year this program's been in existence. We're really excited about it. It's only $45. It includes the shirt, mouth guard, goggles, a free 2-week clinic to start the clinic, and a big championship game. So games are on Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. The program starts the last week in November, so please come join floor hockey legend Howard Weinstein in the Norwood Recreation Department on the last week in November for our historical floor hockey program.
Welcome back. Now let's toss it over to Tim Rose to find out what is happening around the Norwood School District.
Hi guys, thanks for joining me for another update on events and activities happening around our Norwood school community. At the Callahan School, grade 5 students are exploring how hydraulic machines and pneumatic machines work with the use of plastic syringes. Norwood Police Officer Cordero came into Mr. Downs' classroom and helped out with the lesson and learned a little science as well. Let's take a look.
Break it. Play the syringe.
The Callahan staff participated in McTeacher's Night, serving food to students and their families at our local McDonald's. Even the school liaison officer joined in on the fun by spending time with students in the play place. This fundraising event was sponsored by the PTA and enjoyed by all who attended. The Prescott has been busy this week engaging in exciting activities to push and extend their thinking. The 5th grade spent some time thinking through an engineering design challenge, trying to create a tower with limited supplies, such as one piece of paper, a few centimeters of tape, and that's it. Teams were challenged to identify their strategy, work together to build the tower, and evaluate how to improve their design after a few trials. Mrs. Belanger and Mr. Marshalsea were proud of the kids' perseverance through this challenge. Principal Riley was also excited to announce the first ever Principal's Advisory at the Prescott. These students, in grades 1 to 5, will help improve student life at the Prescott and provide critical advice to Principal Riley on key school initiatives. The 10 first through third graders and 12 fourth and fifth graders will meet over lunch monthly to begin their work. At the Little Mustang Preschool Academy, children and families were moving and grooving at their first music and movement night. Children and their families were invited to come to school for a sing-along hosted by Principal Carolyn Robbins. Everyone enjoyed learning some new songs which incorporated Spanish and math concepts, as well as singing some of their favorites. Mrs. Robbins played some songs on her trumpet, and the evening ended with everyone shaking their maracas to the Mexican hat dance. Let's listen in.
Here we go.
At the Balch School, students in Miss Davis's class are learning how to code the text when reading nonfiction. Sometimes when reading nonfiction, there are parts that are written in narrative form embedded in the text. Students are working with a partner, reading an article, and using a green-colored pencil to identify text which is written as narrative, and blue to identify that which is written as expository. The class is in the middle of a unit on reading nonfiction text and will soon begin working in small groups researching extreme weather. At Norwood High School, a 2018 alum and United States Marine Corps Private First Class Kyle McHugh has just returned from boot camp and visited Dr. Crowley's class last week to talk about life in the Marine Corps. Private First Class McHugh wanted to send his best wishes to his former teachers and friends at NHS. Congratulations to the October Students of the Month, Emily Moran and Michael Curley. These students were selected by NHS staff for their outstanding participation in Norwood High School activities. At the Coakley Middle School, students are feeling fabulous on Positive Sign Thursday. Check it out. Well, that's it for school news. For more information around the district, please check the website, Facebook, and watch Norwood Community Media. As always, thanks so much for your continued support of our school community. Now let's go to Brian Dunn with the latest sports news.
Thanks, Tim. With Thanksgiving just a couple weeks away, registration for winter sports is now open. An informational meeting was held on Thursday, November 8th, to go over details for the upcoming seasons. Winter sports will kick off the Monday after Thanksgiving, November 26th. Stay tuned to NZM this winter as we will be bringing you live coverage from Norwood High School winter sports. Last weekend, football picked up its second win of the season, the first at home this year, beating Oliver Ames by a score of 28-12. The Mustangs jumped out to an early 14-0 lead and didn't look back, as a good defensive showing was complemented by a relentless air attack, as Jay Wachowski had a beautiful one-handed grab for a touchdown, and the Dennehy brothers took a page out of the Philadelphia Eagles playbook, drawing up a play resembling the Philly Special from Super Bowl 52. Jason Dennehy threw a corner pass to his brother Timmy Dennehy for a game-sealing touchdown in the fourth quarter. Congratulations to Norwood football on another win. Field hockey lost in the second round of the MIAA tournament to King Philip by a final score of 3-1. Allie McDonough was the goal scorer for the Mustangs. Congratulations to Coach Dolliner and the entire field hockey team on a fantastic season. In cross-country news, there were two medalists for the Mustangs in the Coach's Invitational. Olivia Baudette was a runner-up in the sophomore race, and Miles Kidd placed 49th in the freshman race. Congratulations to both Olivia and Miles on your placements. And it's another week and another record broken for Casey Smith, as she now holds the Stonehill program record for assists with 37, snapping an 11-year standing record that stood since 2007. Congratulations to Casey. As always, stay tuned to Norwood News every week for sports recaps, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook for updates on when live sports are happening in Norwood. That's all for sports. Now back to the desk.
Welcome back to Norwood News. The Norwood Mustang Marching Band won first place last weekend at the Nesbitt Championships. The marching band competed at Nesbitt Championships this past weekend held in Lawrence. The band won first place, making them the 2018 Nesbitt Division III champions for the second year in a row. They earned a platinum medal as well as the High Caption Awards for Best Music, Best Percussion, and Best Color Guard. The Mustangs finished the season undefeated. Amazing. NCM reporter Aaron Crowley sat down with marching band director Steve Conant.
We just wrapped up a really exciting season with our presentation of the Black Swan. It's something that I don't think I can ever remember doing in my career, especially my tenure here in Norwood, for us to go undefeated, not only in overall score, but best percussion the entire season long, best color guard the entire season long.
That's incredible.
And,
congratulations.
And best
to you.
overall music. Thank you. So it was great, but you know, every week you're nervous. Is it like, are we going to be able to keep this going? Can we keep this moving forward? And the kids were just really awesome. They worked really, really hard each and every week.
Yeah, awesome. I'm curious to like your coaching mentality and like how do you kind of like prepare for all of those like next steps and prepare all the kids as well?
It really starts with programming. This is one of the years where we really made a great effort at looking at what we wanted to do and really kind of spelling it all out. And that conversation started back in March in a formal planning over the phone with our three coordinators in April. And then it literally takes 3 or 4 months just to actually physically do all of those things. In fact, the last thing that we did was a plume change that we had talked about in April, and it didn't go in until November. So it just sometimes just takes time, but it really comes down to programming.
To catch the full sit-down interview with Steve and Aaron, tune into Norwood Digest Thursday, November 15th, live at 6:30 p.m. The 8th grade football team competed in the state championship this past weekend at Brockton High School. The previously undefeated Mustangs took on the King Philip Chiefs, who were also undefeated. The Mustangs got on the board first and kicking the 2-point conversion to go up 8-0. The Chiefs scored right before halftime to cut the lead to 8-6. The second half was all KP, with a touchdown in the third, then the final score, which came late in the fourth quarter to seal the game. The final score was 22-8 King Philip. The 8th grade Mustang team finished the year as the state runner-ups. Congrats on an incredible season. Beer lovers from near and far came together at the Norwood Space Center Saturday for a tasting hosted by Castle Island Brewing Company. And the rain showers couldn't stop this afternoon from starting with a bang. That's right, you may recognize those guys, the End Zone Militia from Patriots games. And they came back to help kick off this party. Castle Island invited 20 of its brewing family members from around the region in showcasing New England's most popular barrel-brewed lagers. Visitors paid an entry fee to spend a few hours tasting an extensive craft beer lineup. Bill O'Connor manages brewing operations at Castle Island Brewing Company and shares his appreciation for the Norwood community.
We have so many regulars who come into the tap room constantly who live in Norwood, and they've been so gung-ho about our brand that we have to start doing stuff like this, and we're pumped to do stuff like this. You know, we like to play things a little close to the chest. We've definitely got some things in the works, but we'll keep them to ourselves for now, but you'll be seeing more things like this in the future.
In airport news, Boston Executive Helicopter has filed a complaint with the Federal Aviation Administration against the town of Norwood and the Airport Commission. The FAA Director of Airport Compliance Management, Kevin Willis, made a decision that the town and the Airport Commission were in violation of grant assurances. The town has 30 days to come up with a plan that will address the complaints. In addition, a civil case will be heard next month in federal court. The Airport Commission held an executive session meeting on Monday, and the Board of Selectmen also met in executive session on Tuesday to discuss these matters. NCM contacted Airport Commission member Kevin Shaughnessy and said he cannot comment due to ongoing litigation. NCM will continue to follow the story. If you're around town this weekend, NHS football will be squaring off against Milford on Saturday at Murray Field. On Sunday, the town will be celebrating Veterans Day. At 9 a.m., a mass will be held at St. Catherine's on Washington Street. The parade units step off from Balch School at 1:30, making their way to the town common, where ceremonies and observances will be held. At 3 p.m., there will be an exhibit celebrating the 100-year anniversary of World War I and the 90th birthday of Norwood Town Hall. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.